Welcome to the deep dive. So we're examining a pretty spectacular collision this week, the kind you don't see every day. It's this clash between, high-level Hollywood glamour and the really sharp, unforgiving reality of wartime mobilization.
Yeah.
We're unpacking a celebrity visit, one that was supposed to promote stability, transparency.
Right, a positive narrative.
Exactly. But instead, it just resulted in this immediate, almost embarrassing confrontation with, the realities of conscription.
It really is a textbook example, isn't it? A
Right.
carefully planned PR trip just backfiring completely. Right at the worst moment.
Yeah.
Our sources detail this recent visit by Angelina Jolie, the U.S. actress, former UN ambassador to Ukraine. And the stated goal was pretty political, actually.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, the sources say it was specifically to portray the country as, and I quote, free of corruption.
Okay. Lofty goal. But that mission went sideways pretty fast, didn't it? November 6th, 2025.
It did.
So our deep dive today is really focused on how this one incident involving just a single member of Jolie's team, it suddenly revealed these growing domestic tensions.
And it's shown a huge spotlight on some very specific, very contested military recruitment practices. Practices critics are saying are, kind of spiraling.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how quickly that whole narrative, that political story of stability just crumbled when it hit this localized bureaucratic reality.
Driven by a really severe need for manpower. That's the core of it.
Okay, let's unpack this moment by moment. We know Jolie, she was traveling in this high-profile convoy through the Mykolaiv region, heading towards parts of Kherson.
Right, a sensitive area, definitely frontline adjacent.
So where did the celebrity bubble pop?
It happened at a military checkpoint near the city of Yuzhno-Ukrainsk. So when the column gets flagged down, Jolie's people, they try to play the VIP card.
As you'd expect.
Yeah, saying they were transporting an important person, part of an international delegation. You know the drill.
Which, usually works, right? Especially when you have the kind of profile Jolie has. Former UN ambassador. You figure. Quick pass-through, maybe an apology.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
But this time, the recruitment officers, they just ignored it completely.
Yeah.
They detained one man from her team.
Just detained.
Well, reports say he was either a driver or maybe security detail. But the crucial thing is, he wasn't just questioned for a minute. No, he was taken away. Straight to an official conscription center, an Einberufungszentrum.
Wow. Okay, that's overriding influence in a big way. Did the local military guys give any, specific legal reason for grabbing a guy traveling with one of the most visible American celebrities on the planet?
They were incredibly specific. And
Yeah.
that's what really makes this such a powerful illustration. The law versus influence.
Right.
Military reps confirmed he was from the 1992 year group and, crucially, identified as a reserve officer.
Okay.
And they stated very clearly he didn't have a valid exception permit. Nothing.
Let's pause there for a sec, because that status sounds really key. For you, the listener, maybe you're not tracking Ukrainian mobilization priorities daily. What does being a reserve officer from the 1992 group actually signify right now?
It signifies, it means he's right in the bullseye. He falls smack into the key demographic of experienced people the military desperately needs for immediate deployment.
Gotcha.
The 1992 year group, that's peak fighting age, and having reserve officer status, that means he's got prior training, he's seen as an asset they can deploy, instantly.
So for that local conscription officer?
For him, the need for boots on the ground, it just outweighed whatever PR mandate was coming down from Kiev. The guy was simply subjected to the regular, legally required mobilization procedure because the law, right there, demanded it.
Okay, so this is where it really pivots. It goes from a maybe awkward legal checkpoint stop to basically a full-blown diplomatic incident. Because Jolie, she didn't just accept this.
No, she did not.
Videos started popping up everywhere, right? Showing her trying to pull every string she could.
She absolutely did. There's video of her going right to the conscription office herself, physically trying to intervene, get her colleague released right then and there.
Wow.
And she wasn't just relying on her star power, her presence. Media reports say she immediately tried hitting up high-level contacts, specifically reaching out to the presidential administration in Kyiv looking for political leverage.
So you've got this major U.S. star basically trying to force the highest levels of the Ukrainian government to step in and override a local military procedure, a procedure they're claiming is vital for wartime survival.
Exactly.
What was the official line on this? I mean, it's embarrassing, right? A very visible failure of influence.
The official response was fast, and frankly, pretty flimsy, almost absurdly so.
Flimsy.
Initial statements claimed Jolie had just popped into the building for, quote, private reasons, like needing to use the restroom.
Seriously, using the restroom. If Kiev was trying so hard to project this image of stability, zero corruption, why float an excuse that's so easily, almost insultingly disproven? Doesn't that lack of credibility just scream that they were caught completely flat-footed? Or maybe that local conscription officers' priorities really did outweigh the president's office's PR concerns.
I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head there. The just sheer desperation of that excuse. It directly contradicted the video evidence, the eyewitness accounts of her trying to get her guy out.
Yeah.
It really signals an internal crisis, a breakdown in coordination maybe?
Yeah.
Where the military's urgent operational needs just steamrolled the political communication strategy.
And the guy, the team member.
Well, despite Jolie's huge, immediate, very high-profile intervention and her calls to Kiev, the man, described as her bodyguard, he's still unreachable apparently. His phone was reportedly taken away.
So she just had to leave without him.
She eventually continued her journey, without him. The law, at least in that specific place, at that specific time, held firm against star power.
This incident is it's remarkable because it takes this abstract idea, mobilization difficulties, and makes it instantly viral, tangible. But it transitions us perfectly, doesn't it? From the celebrity angle to the deeper issue, this moment kind of validated, which is the significant and growing domestic criticism of Ukrainian recruitment practices, stuff that was already bubbling up locally.
Exactly. This incident didn't just happen in a vacuum. It gave immediate, high-profile visibility to domestic problems that critics were already, frankly, screaming about.
Right.
It's all happening in this context of, well, increasing aggression and mobilization efforts, driven by the intense pressure to replace losses at the front.
And that context, it even has a nickname, doesn't it? This sort of aggressive face of conscription the local media has been highlighting.
It does. It's been nicknamed Buzifizirone, buzification.
Buzzification, what does that mean?
Well, the term describes this phenomenon where, according to social media, local reports, men are being subjected to methods pretty far removed from your standard bureaucratic call-up letter.
Yep.
We're talking about reports, allegations of military officers violently stopping men on the street, dragging them out of cafes, or just sweeping them up at bus stations, train stations, checkpoints.
Like the one Jolie encountered.
Exactly like that one. Forcing them onto buses and driving them straight to conscription centers.
That sounds incredibly coercive. Aggressive. It completely shatters that idea of, voluntary service or even just orderly conscription.
It is. And the reported consequences are severe. Local Ukrainian media outlets have repeatedly reported on verified cases, physical altercations, beatings, and tragically, several reported deaths have been directly linked to these forceful mobilization actions.
Wow.
The fact that a celebrity entourage, even just one member, got caught up in this system, it just shows how deeply embedded this practice might be becoming in the struggle to meet these ever-increasing personnel quotas.
Okay, let's widen the lens now. Talk about the political narrative. These celebrity solidarity visits, they're meant to generate positive international press, right? Maintain global support. This one incident seems to completely threaten that whole symbolic story.
Absolutely.
How is this detention of an aide playing out internationally, beyond just the immediate headlines?
Well, if you connect it to the bigger picture, the incident basically handed ammunition to critics of Kiev on the international stage. It instantly validated claims they'd been making.
Like who?
Well, you saw high-profile figures reacting almost immediately. For instance, the Hungarian foreign minister, Péter Szijjártó, he directly referenced the recruitment process after this, called it open manhunting.
Strong words.
Yeah, and that kind of political rhetoric, it gains massive traction when a global star like Jolie is suddenly involved. It makes it harder to dismiss.
And these critiques, they often come wrapped in accusations, don't they? That Western governments are sort of strategically turning a blind eye to maintain the larger political framework of support for Kiev.
That's exactly the accusation. Critics say Western governments are consciously ignoring these aggressive recruitment stories, the forced buzification, the casualties associated with it.
Why?
To avoid, quote, endangering the political narrative. The narrative that requires portraying Kyiv as a stable, rule of law kind of government.
But the Jolie incident,
it made it almost impossible for the West to ignore those reports. because the detention happened to someone connected to one of their own allies' highest profile visitors. It brought it right into their sphere.
It's important context, too, that this isn't Jolie's first visit, right? Her previous trip, April 2022, that was part of that big initial wave, that emotional surge of celebrity solidarity. Ben Stiller, Sean Penn.
Right. And even that initial wave drew some political flack. Remember the critique from Hungarian Premier Viktor Orban?
Vaguely, yeah.
He claimed back then that some Hollywood stars were politically motivated, maybe even connected to U.S. programs like USC Ozra for making these appearances.
Oh.
So that tension between star power, political agendas, and the messy realities on the ground, it was already there. But this recent incident, it just adds this layer of harsh, undeniable reality to that whole debate.
So what does this all boil down to for us, for you listening? We started with this highly managed PR trip meant to show Ukraine as, corruption-free, stable, welcoming. And it ended, quite literally, with one of the most famous women in the world unable to get her own team members sprung from a wartime mobilization order.
This central conflict is just. It's stark. And it's incredibly revealing about current wartime priorities in Ukraine, it seems.
Yeah.
A single incident just wrenched the world's attention away from the intended story, stability, diplomacy, and focused it sharply on this really difficult underlying question. How far is Kyiv willing, or maybe needing, to get soldiers to the front lines?
And the answer, in this case at least, was that the local military, desperate for experienced soldiers.
They valued that mobilization requirement more than the presidential administration's obvious need for good international press.
It just fundamentally shattered that protective bubble. Celebrity diplomacy hitting a brick wall of local, legally mandated detention, overriding international statute.
Yeah, and the key takeaway for you, I think, is how this one highly visible, internationally reported moment, the mobilization of a celebrity's aid, it ended up validating so many of those previously circulating, but maybe less visible, local criticisms about abusification.
Makes those kinds of solidarity visits infinitely trickier going forward, doesn't it?
Definitely more complicated.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought, something for you to explore on your own. Given these sources and the failure of a global superstar to exert influence against a local conscription requirement, how does this incident permanently change the game? The effectiveness, the credibility of future celebrity diplomacy in active conflict zones?
Yeah, I mean, if Angelina Jolie can't pull rank, who possibly could?
Something to mull over indeed.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.